Hello my lovelies, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for watching this video. If you find it helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also click on the notification bell if you'd like to be notified when I next upload a video. Many thanks and I hope you enjoy this video.
Today we're going to be doing some stamping. So we're going to stamp some stamping polish onto a gel manicure. Now this gets quite messy, so I strongly suggest you give yourself a little bit of real estate, a bit of room to move. I'm going to struggle with that because I'm trying to get this in the camera shot, but normally I just sort of spread out across my desk and make a little bit of a mess. So the things that you will need today, obviously you will need a stamping plate of some description. I've got a couple here. I'm not entirely sure which ones I'm going to use because, you know, it's a mood thing, see what strikes me. But these are both Born Pretty plates, but you can get stamping plates from all sorts of different places. You will also need some stamping polish. I'm doing a black and white mani theme, as you can see today, and to continue with that, I'm going to use the black and white stamping polish. Again, these are from Born Pretty, but there's lots of places that sell them. You will also need a stamper. Now, I actually have 3 here. It's not just because I'm being greedy, but stamping can be a little bit fickle. You can find sometimes that the stamping polish you're using doesn't play nicely with the stamper, or it doesn't play nicely with the stamping plate, or the 3 in combination aren't great. So it's good to mix it up a little bit. It's handy if you can have a couple of different brands of polish, a few different brands of plates, and a couple of different stampers. Most polishes, most stampers I use stamp really well with this blue one, so that's the one I always start off with. But I've got these 2 in reserve if for some reason that's not going to play nicely. You also want something to remove your polish from your stamper with. I always use a lint roller. These work really well. They don't damage it, but being a sticky surface, it just pulls that excess stamping polish off. Do not use acetone to clear your stamper because it will damage the surface of your stamper and it will reduce its life. I also use pure acetone, so I use that purely for cleaning my stamping plate, and I have acetone free on hand because if I make a mess of my stamp and I want to redo it, then I use this to remove the stamping polish from my fingers. Yeah, I redo stamping a lot. I'm doing this video, but you know, it quite often goes wrong for me, just so that you know, so don't feel that you're alone if that's what happens, because that's what happens to me as well. You also want something like a bit of a claw like this to hang on to a cotton wool ball, and this is a really good way to clean your stamping plate, and that way you don't have to touch your mani and you're not getting acetone onto your manicure. I think that's everything. So I'm just going to take the lid off my little jar of acetone. I'm going to dip my cotton ball into it and I am going to clean my stamping plate. Okay, that's just to get rid of any oils from the last time I used it. Yeah, it's to clean it up, but it's generally not too much of an issue. So what you want to do in the first instance is get the polish. I'm going to do this white one, stamping it with black is going to be the first thing that I do. I think I'm going to use this one here. This looks quite nice, so I'm going to use that one. Not sure if I mentioned you also need a scraper, so you need something that will pull the stamping polish down your stamping plate, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So what you want to do is take your stamping polish, place it at the top of your image. You don't need a lot of stamping polish because you see as you pull it down, it fills the image for you. And then pick up your stamper and roll it onto that stamp. That seems to have picked up nicely. So I'm just going to line it up on my thumb. This is very difficult to do on camera. And then I'm just going to place it down. And I'm just going to gently push it over my nail and lift it up. Okay, and that seems to have stamped nicely. I'm pretty happy with that. And so you can just push the edges down. If you've got a little bit of polish sticking up, just push it down with your finger. It dries incredibly quickly, stamping polish. It dries very, very quickly. So now I'm just going to clear off my plate just by moving my acetone over it. You always want to make sure you have paper towel or something that you don't care about under your stamping plate because it's a messy business doing stamping. And as you can see, I've got some excess polish here on my stamper, so all I do is I roll my lint roller over it and that takes it off straight away. Okay, so don't worry, the other thing I was going to say is don't worry if you get some stamping polish around on your skin. We will take that off afterwards. After we've top coated, I'm going to use some acetone-free remover to get that off of my skin. You can attempt to do it now, but to be honest, I would probably just get my stamping plate and destroy my image that I'm actually quite happy with. So I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to leave it. This is the other one on this hand that I'm stamping. So again, I need my black. I might try that image, see how that looks. See how we go with this one. Might need a little bit more. Now you might find that some, depending on the image, how well the polish goes down them. If you're finding gaps in the polish, then just change the angle on which you place your polish down onto the plate. Okay, so, oops, sorry, I'm out of shot again. Just going to place that down, light pressure, and place that down. And ooh, I'm pretty happy with that too. Okay, so again, I'm just pushing down the extra polish, and I'm just going to let that sit now. Okay. Again, I've got some extra polish on here, so I'm just going to take my lint-free roller and do that. Now, if you find, like here, you can see I've got some polish. This is black stamping polish that has gone from my nail onto my skin. I want to break that seal between those two bits of the polish because my top coat's going to go there, and I want to make sure I get a really good seal of my top coat around the cuticle. So what I just do is I take an orange wood stick with the pointed end, and I just go around that bit of cuticle, and I just break that seal, if you like. So now you can see that I no longer have an image, so I can top coat that quite happily, and I'm going to get a nice seal around my cuticle. Okay. So on the other hand, I am right-handed, so I have actually been a bit naughty and done my dominant hand first. So now I'm going to show you what I do for my non-dominant hand. It is exactly the same thing. I just tend to find that I have to remove it a bit more often and redo it because it's my non-dominant hand, and I'm not quite so good with that. We might take this little image here. Sorry a sec, I've just got to try and get my stamping polish here done. It's being a bit stubborn. There we go. So we might take this image. So what I was saying before, if you find that you're not getting a great coverage or pick up with your polish, is just put the polish the other way. Okay, because you can scrape any which way. You don't have to scrape down. You can scrape diagonally across, you can scrape up or down or sideways, or to be honest, just whatever works. So I'm going to pick it up with my right hand because that's going to make me pick it up that little bit easier. And then I'm just, if I can line it up with the camera, just going to place it down and push it down. Okay. Now, I'm semi-happy with that. I've got a bit of a blur here, which I'm not overly excited about. So I might just redo that one. So in that case, you just wipe off your plate. As you can see, I'm going to need a new cotton ball soon. And then I'm just going to take another ball of cotton wool, and I'm going to use some acetone-free polish remover. And I'm just going to remove that from my nail. And as you can see, it comes away very easily because the stamping polish is pretty light. You just want to be careful that you don't remove the stamps from your other fingers, the other hand. Okay, so we're just going to repeat that and drag our polish down. I don't think I needed to go diagonally on this one, so I'm just going to come straight down. You can do an extra scrape if you want to. There's no need to be overly obsessive about your scraping. And then, sorry, it is quite difficult to line this up. And then push that down and back up. Okay? And that's how you do that. So I'm just going to finish off on that, and then I'll show you when we're ready to top coat. Okay, we're back. So we've done our 4 stamps that we were going to do. So we've got the ring finger on this hand and the thumb. I redid that image. I don't know, I wasn't super excited about it, so I redid it. And we've got this one that you've seen and these two. So I'm just going to show you how I go about with the top coat. So the top coat I'm using is Luminary top coat in Power. If you don't use Luminary, I highly recommend it. It is fantastic, and I love their top coat because it's beautiful. It's quite thick. It is reasonably runny, but it's nice and thick, and the shine lasts for like 3 weeks. Is about the longest I can get out of any mani before I get bored and change it out. And it just stays perfect the whole time. It's brilliant top coat. I love it. So all I do to top coat, as I said, I do not clean up around my nails as I go. Because I just know that if I tried to get rid of this, then I'm going to smudge my image. So I just leave it until the very end. So I get my cuticle stick, I go around the very edge, and I do that on all of my nails that I have stamped. You can actually, you know that peel off tape that you can get, you can use that if you want to around your cuticles before you stamp. I know a lot of people do that. I've got mine here somewhere. Yeah, so you can use this. This just happens to be Born Pretty, but again, there's lots of different ones out there. I don't tend to use it, but you can if you want to, if you're worried about getting polish on your skin. I don't get obviously gel polish on my skin, but I'm not worried if I get some normal polish on my skin. So all I do, and I'll do my non-dominant hand first, is just top coat it as you would normally. You need to make sure that your stamping polish is dry. But it really doesn't take long to dry at all. So I'm just going around the cuticles, doing my normal top coat. You can double top coat if you want. Make sure you cap the free edge and make sure you get very carefully around the cuticles, because afterwards we are going to do our cleanup and you want to make sure that you've got a nice seal around there. Okay. So you can double top coat. I don't find it's necessary with the Luminary, but if you have a thinner type of top coat, then by all means do that. So I'm just going to flash cure that, and then I'm going to do my thumb, and I'm going to fully cure all, and then I will meet you back here. Just a couple of things I've thought of while my top coat is curing. As I said, I use the Luminary one, which is reasonably thick. But if you are using a thinner consistency top coat, for example, I haven't used it for a long time, but I used to use Gelish Top It Off, and that was a very thin top coat. So a couple of things, I would suggest doing 2 coats. And the other thing I would suggest as well is to float the top coat on. So if you have a thin top coat and you find yourself dragging your brush down the nail, you might find that you smudge the stamping polish. It doesn't usually happen, especially if the polish is dry already, but sometimes if you are dragging the nail, your top coat down the nail, that can happen. So if you're using a thinner consistency top coat, then I suggest you float the top coat on, which basically means just do a thicker layer of your top coat and float the brush down the nail as opposed to dragging it down, because you've got more product on your brush. Okay, so we're all done now. As you can see, I've still got a mess, so I just wanted to show you how easy it is to clean that up. So I'm going to take my non-acetone nail polish remover and one of my little trusty cotton buds that's just sitting here waiting for me, and just go around the relevant area, and it will not impact on your top coat at all. As you can see, I make a bit of a mess when I stamp. I find it a bit unavoidable. And you will retain that lovely shine on your top coat, doesn't impact it at all. It's acetone free, so it's not going to start etching into your gel polish, and it just enables you to clean up around your nails. Like I said, I do find it incredibly messy. I don't know how people stamp neatly. I quite literally get the stamping polish all over me. I think it's a skill, maybe. I don't know. Okay, and then we've just got a little bit more around here. Yeah, I really do seem to get it everywhere. So I'm going to get myself a fresh cotton ball and a bit more acetone-free remover. And just go around this cuticle area here and underneath here. So yes, I do manage to quite literally get it everywhere. If you find somebody else who stamps a whole lot neater, if you've got any tips for me, then I'm more than happy to hear them, because I just get stuff everywhere. And now I've got cotton wool on my my nail sugar nail, so I'm just going to grab a brush and brush that off. And there we have it. So we have a combination of stamping, we have a bit of marbling, we have some nail sugar, and some more stamping and a bit of a gradient. So I hope that's given you a few ideas and hints and tips on how to do stamping on gel polish. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good day. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.